Contra 3: The Alien Wars is a seminal SNES title, and is one of the most popular games in the franchise. God, I miss the old Konami logo. Contra 3 takes place in the year 2636, and we're treated to an opening attack by Red Falcon, the alien force bent on taking over the Earth. They pretty much obliterate the entire city or leave most of it in ruins. The Alien Wars begin? That's kind of simple, but I got one better. How about let's blow the shit out of these motherfuckers? That was a little better. Let's try again. Let's see. We're totally going to ass rape these alien assholes because this is post-apocalyptic America, bitch. Yeah, that sounds a lot better. It's time for revenge. Ooh, macho. Let's attack aggressively as opposed to peaceful negotiation, I guess. The title screen is simple, as it was in the original game. The option mode only has a few settings like how many lives you get, up to a max of 7, and the difficulty. Why the hell would anyone want to play this game in mono instead of stereo? Maybe if they only have one ear, I guess? Hard to say. The first stage is awesome. It really gets the blood pumping early. You're thrown into the desolate streets of the city with tons of aliens, soldiers, and other crap flying at you. You have the standard weapon, which now is the machine gun. Thank God, no more button mashing. The ultimate weapon of destruction, the spread gun, also returns. New are the crush missile, which I hate like no other, the heat seeker missile, laser, and flamethrower. There's also the super bomb, which is like a nuclear grenade, I guess, that destroys everything on screen, but you usually only have a handful. Makes a pretty badass sound though, so I always end up laughing when I use one. Throughout the first stage, you encounter the large towers from the first game, a bomber flying towards the screen to blow shit up even more thanks to Mode 7 graphics, and roaring pillars of fire. The old John Deere tractor makes its only appearance in the first stage, and it's a lot of fun to blow the shit out of everything in your way. It's also really funny if you're playing 2 players since you can run over your friend with it, but the game has 6 stages total, with most of them being split into different parts. Stage 2A or 5B, etc. At the end of each stage, you'll face a huge boss. Most of them, if you know their attacks, are pretty easy to take out. The only exception to this is the flying, chain-whipping ninja robot motherfucker in stage 4, since he seems to go the random attack route most of the time. The final stage also has 3 parts instead of just 2, with a smaller mini-boss at the end of each part. Speaking of which, the second boss has some really cool music, even though he's a total pushover. I've watched other reviews, and most people seem to complain about the difficulty of the game as a whole. While I agree the game is challenging, I fail to see what they're talking about. On normal difficulty, I can usually get through at least the first 3 or 4 stages without dying at all, and if I do, it's because of my own fuck-ups. Another neat thing Konami did with this game is the top-down stages. On stages 2 and 5, you're looking down on the level from a bird's eye view, navigating around the D-pad, and using the L and R buttons to rotate your character to attack enemies. I think it's fun, and while I'm with most of you that the crumbling bridge sections are a pain in the ass sometimes, they're not too tough. Stage 5 really gets annoying though, as the bridges there blow up when you walk across them. And if you go across too many of them, you can get trapped with no way to finish the level. It can get confusing as to where you are and where you have to go. all the while dodging enemies, sand traps, and those fucking sand conveyor belt thingies. They even rub sand in the wound by placing them near super small ledges. I'd have to say Stage 3 is probably my favorite, mostly because of the background graphics. I think Konami did a really good job with all the industrial, kind of gritty, urban pollution wasteland. I especially like the rolling pollution clouds in the background the most. Now, a lot of people have had trouble with this boss. This is at the end of Stage 4. I think it's one of the funnest bosses to kill. You start with these two dickheads here. You kill them, kick their asses, and then a big one shows up to kick your ass. But again, he's really simple. All you do is keep moving around either in clockwise or counterclockwise and avoid his fire breath. It's not that frickin' hard. And you just shoot him in the brain. You just rinse and repeat mostly because he keeps doing the same attacks over and over. And then eventually... oh shit! So what's this game's preoccupation with brains and guts? I mean, every friggin' where you look, there's brains or guts everywhere. Look at the first mini-boss of the end level. It's just a big heart with guts everywhere around it. And everywhere you look in the game, there's brains too, like brain-shaped eyeball things in the background. And then the end boss has like a brain coming out of his skull. And then you kick the shit out of him and he blows up. And then the skull around him blows up, and then his brain comes out, and there's even more brains. And then the boss of the first level, he's got brains for legs. Like, what the fuck? Instead of calling it Contra 3 The Alien Wars, they should just call it Contra 3 You Want Some Fucking Brains, Asshole? Yeah! The sound effects and music are top-notch, from explosions to weapon sounds to things crumbling and breaking up. The soundtrack kicks ass, and it sounds even better if you play with a subwoofer. The victory theme makes a return, but only when you complete a level. In the end, Contra 3 The Alien Wars is one of my favorite games on the SNES, and I'm glad I finally got around to making this episode. I've played this game probably hundreds of times since it came out, nearly 20 years ago at this point. It's a true gem and is a fantastic addition to any gamer out there. Check it out.